amazing innovators in the design studio every day. One thing that we don't have a shortage of in the design studio is really curious students with great ideas. And the purpose of the design studio was to, one, showcase these students, and then secondly, celebrate them. And finally, to encourage others. So we want to showcase to the world, we want to show to our partners, we want to show to the world that this is what young African, young Tanzanian engineers and innovators can do. We want to celebrate the work of our innovators, like the innovators of ours that are doing the work here. We want to make sure that their work is celebrated, their hard work, the many hours they put into the design studio working, that is honored. And then finally, there are lots of young engineers out there who we are hoping to inspire, young innovators who are trying to show that your dreams really are possible and that the future of Africa in general is making sure that we boost our local potential and our local innovators.
Normally, we encourage, innovators. We encourage innovators to come up with innovations that solve problems in our society. So there are different ways to encourage. One of it is to set up kind of a competition and award those who are doing well. And the good thing is this is embedded under the work stream for invention education. So apart from teaching them the fourth industrial revolution skills, but also you need also to encourage them to come up with innovative ideas where they can use those skills to come up with solutions. So we have to organize this competition so that we get many people and then encourage them to do innovation activities. At the end of the day, recognize them by awarding them. Of course, at the end of the day, try to find those projects or solutions that are presented to see how best we can sell them or we can take them to the market. We can guide them to take the solution to the market after the improvement. So the idea behind organizing these competitions is to encourage innovators, but also to recognize their work so that they can take them to the next level. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Our project's name is Locally Manufactured Bubble CPAP Machine.
Bubble CPAP is actually abbreviation for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. So it is a device which assists babies with respiratory distress syndrome, which has been cause of over 3 million deaths in underdeveloped countries.
The design criteria and features that we used in developing this system, we included the cost effectiveness, which we compared with the current systems or devices that are available, the portability of the device, maintainability, easy to use, so that when the nurses are using it, they do not get the very hard time in using or they go through the tutorials to know how the device is to be used.
The project is entitled as an automatic system for dispensing water and soap for hand washing at the DIT canteen. DIT canteen was just a case study for my project, but my project solved the problems that exist within the country. The trigger for my projects, or the things that made me to come up with this kind of project, that at DIT canteen, in most cases, you find that if someone wants to wash his or her hands, he or she must open the taps manually and the soap bottle manually. The operations are just manual. So I came to realize that that process is risky, meaning that it puts users at the risk of getting infectious diseases, because at the canteen you'll find out that you have only 5 points of washing hands, meaning that at the canteen you have almost like more than 1,000 customers coming daily, meaning that only one tap can be shared by more than 200 people. So meaning that people are at the risk of getting infectious diseases. So that was the first problem. The second problem that I came to realize is that the height of washing hands are fixed, meaning that if you are that much tall, or if you are a disabled person or someone with a child, you find it difficult for you to wash your hands. And also something that also I find out at the DIT canteen is that the systems are operated manually, meaning that if the water finishes in the system, they refill it out manually, meaning that there must be someone who always will refill the water containers, filling the soap bottles manually. So those were the challenges, those were the triggers that made me to come with this kind of the project of an automatic system for dispensing water and soap for hand washing at DIT canteen.
So during the practice of CPR in an actual emergency situation, the Resuscitation usually considers 2 parameters. One is the chest compression depth and 2 is the chest compression rate. So I have developed a mannequin which will provide a person with a platform to practice the performance of CPR considering those 2 key factors. So the way my prototype works is that a person will be actually performing the chest compressions on the mannequin, and the mannequin will be capturing the performance of an individual. Then it will give appropriate feedback depending on the way the person is performing it. For instance, if a person is performing exceeding the standards that are set for the depth, there will be a feedback for that, and if a person performs under that, there will be a feedback for that. So my mannequin consists of an upper body mannequin for the compression. It also consists sensors to capture the compression depth and rate. It also consists of a display unit to display the performance of an individual. It contains also some visual indication units in form of light to show the blood flow, which is something we expect to occur if a person is practicing CPR on a real person. So the receiver or the person practicing CPR will be compressing the mannequin, and if the person exceeds the compression depth, there will be indications. Number 1, it will be a sound indication. Number 2, there will be a display which will show that a person has exceeded the depth. And if a person performs under the set or required depth, there will be a visual indication in form of light. There will be a sound indication, and there will also be the display which will display that the volume is under. And if the rate is also high or low, the mannequin will respond accordingly.
I constructed or built a project named Dumpster and Collection Point Geolocation Monitoring System. Well, what triggered me to do the project is that it's the inspiration. I believe every engineer is a problem solver, and based on the statistic on waste management, I saw an opportunity that I can use to come up with something that will change, or I will solve a problem and at least fulfill the purpose. And there is where I found Dumpster and Collection Point Geolocation Monitoring System. It's a monitoring system that utilizes the current technology of Internet of Things, where it will gather information from the surrounding environment and send them directly to an application that's online, bringing together the physical world and the application.
From the presentation, actually, I was impressed with the way the competitors are trying to sell the ideas behind whatever innovation they've come up with. They've been talking about needs finding. Why did they come up with that idea? That's a very good thing, because if you don't know how you came up with that idea, it's very difficult to commercialize that innovation. So they show how they come up with that problem, and they propose a solution, and they talked a little bit about how are they going to commercialize. Those are the very, very nice features to me for today's presentation.
And the most notable thing that was very impressive for me is the collaboration of students on a single project from different disciplines. An example for a project whereby we had one student from mechanical and another student from computer working on a single problem. So that was very impressive for me, because they develop collaborative skills, teamwork skills. At the same time, they work in an experience that is also in the industry, because in the normal studies they just study on the isolated fields, but in this setup they can work in a team on a product that is multidisciplinary. So that was very impressive for me to see students from different disciplines working on a single project.
What I found most interesting is seeing how faculty members, like official DIT faculty members, engage with the students. Because usually, I think there's design within the DIT Design Studio, and then there's the design critiques that happen during final year project consultations. And I think the design competition was a place where we brought those together. We brought the new design thinking perspectives that are quite widespread now in the 21st century. And also we're bringing together the traditional forms of engineering critique, the ones that might be more appropriate for Africa, but definitely the ones that fit into the current human resources we have. And trying to bring those two halves together, literally within the same room, but to start a conversation about what the future of Tanzanian design, what the future of Tanzanian engineering will look like.
Okay, I would like to advise the students and the rest of the youngsters out there to use platforms such as the Design Studio. It is a place where you actually make your dreams come true. If you have the dream of actually making things for different areas, like you want to make different items for hospitals, different items for a variety of areas, you want to develop your own personal project, or you want to take it to commercialization stage, you should use platforms such as this is where you get to learn how to do that. You get to learn how to develop it from scratch. You get to learn how to take it through the different prototyping stage until you get to the commercialization level. So I would advise them to make good use of it because it is a very rare opportunity.
I think the student, they needed to be aware of, first of all, of the existence of this studio, so that they can be able to know how they can use their talents, how they can use their innovative mind, and supported with the studio, and come up with different solutions to the society. So I call them, I urge the student to come up and show their talent, to showcase what they can do, because the society needs it. And we are in the era of industrialization, so that this can be the best solution to the country and boost our economy.
As an engineer, you need a place to work on. You need a place to get your hands dirty in order to build something or to destroy something, anything that you can do. You need a place. DIT as DIT didn't have that place till Design Studio came in. So here's the place where you can push yourself to your limits.